Before proceeding on with our project, I want first of all to make some props for our levels. For example, a box, a TNT, a box plank that I named it for some reason, and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to start off is the box. So go to sprite, then go to environment, and then we have our platform pack tile. So I am going to add another sorting layer, which will be our environment, env, and that will be behind the player. So let me go ahead and add environment. As for the box, it's going to be like 2.5 with 2.5, or maybe 2.4 by 2.4. I mean, it's not big of a difference, but still there is some. As for this one, we're going to call it a simple box. And this box will be the recreation of the level 4 in the game, I guess it was. It's simply going to have a box collider. It's going to stand there. And what's the deal with the box? It's when you shoot a box, so when you shoot it, your bullet is going to fly off and the box will disappear, and then you can freely shoot the enemy. Also, what's important for the box is that you cannot shoot it like on top to hit an enemy. That's something that will be a weird game design choice, so make sure your box is covering that if you have maybe any other boxes. Then what we want to do is add a tag, which will be our box tag. And once our bullet hit the box, it will disappear. Now we can go back to sprites, prefabs, and here I'm going to create a subfolder. I'm going to call it props, where I'm going to add my enemy, and I'm going to add the box itself. For the box, right now we are done, so I'm going to delete it, and we can continue with the box plank. What is a box plank? Well, I don't remember, I didn't went there and studied the levels, but there's one level where you have this big plank and you can shoot it, and if it falls onto the player will die. Also, I just changed it to minus 0.9, so they're facing each other. And we're going to recreate that by going to sprite, then going to environment, and then having this box over here, environment, and we can see it here. This one, let's make it 1.65. This should do it. Of course, this will not be the box where it will be there and then you can shoot it. This will be the box that will be posted, for example, on top of something. Then you have to shoot it down and it's going to fall onto the player and eventually kill him. So I just decide to name this box plank because the plank is destroying our player, and this is our plank that I'm talking about. Like this. I know it's not a plank is a wood, but still, that's why I decided to name it. If you don't like it, you change the name, simple as that. Just don't flame me, don't be toxic. I'm gonna add a box collider 2D to it so we can detect collision. And I'm going to add a rigid body 2D so we can move it. So for example, if I go here and add a box collider, I'm going to move it like this. Actually, I'm just going to scale it down as for now only. If I click play, if I shoot this, bam, it's going to go and this will happen. Now it's bugged out because here we have another box collider. So I think it's this one. If I remove it, we're going to see the proper things. If I shoot it, bam, it's gonna fly away. Now as you can see, it's flying away too far away with such a bullet. I mean, this should not happen. What is the fix for it? The fix for it is you have to add a bit more mass to the box plank. So for example, if I add here 15, which is too much, let's see what's gonna happen. I barely moved it. And yeah, and I squashed my player. So here you're going to decide how heavy or how light your box plank will be, depending on the level. Maybe sometimes you need less, sometimes you more. I think 7 should be great. Let me check it. Bam. Yeah, 7 should do it. Of course, you can change that later on if it's necessary. So go ahead, go to assets, prefabs, add our box plank to the props, and I am going to add a tag, which will be our box plank. Why do we need a tag for the box plank? Because this one will not disappear, this will just slide off. We needed to check once the box plank, the tags the player gets hit by, or our enemy gets hit by the box plank, then our player should die, and that is what we're gonna check, but only under one condition, that is if it's falling too fast. So let's say, for example, if it falls slowly, or if it just touches him like this, it doesn't really fall off on top of his head, we do not want to kill our enemy, because that will not happen in the real life. But if it falls on his head, then whatnot, then of course he should be dead. Moving on, add the box plank, override it, apply all. We can remove it, and we can focus onto the plank itself. First of all, I'm gonna make it 90 on the z-axis. Scale, you can scale it down a bit maybe, but it's really not necessary. I'm gonna leave it like this. Depending on the level when I create it, I will decide do I need it to be bigger or lower. The box collider itself is gonna stay. We could went here and add the capsule collider, because was it the capsule collider? Let me check my player. It's not the player, it's the enemy. Yeah, it's the capsule collider. I thought this will fit better, but I guess I was wrong. Edit, and I can't even edit it. Like, that's the worst part. I cannot even edit. Maybe horizontal, then I can edit. Yeah, now I can edit like this, and then like this, because right now the edges are better or not. Let's not complicate stuff and just add the box collider. It doesn't really matter, but I do want to make it a bit lower onto the what is called on the height ones. So like this. So blank, it's gonna have its own tag. Add tag blank, not oink, but blank. Fun fact, when you remove, this will be removed, but only when you go out of the project and then come back, then you're not gonna see it like this. When this happens, that means you're still in the project, but you just removed it. Of course, it will not show up, and it doesn't really matter, but if you want it to disappear from here, maybe something's bothering you, then you will just go ahead and exit that. The same thing goes for the plank as for the box plank. Just add a rigid body, and then here maybe again 7, why not? And if I start the game once again, I can shoot it, bam, and it can fall onto the player itself. What happened there, why it did stop? Because again, we have here a wall that we should not have. That is the only thing that happened that bothers us. Now the last thing I want to add is the TNT. I will not add the explosion in this video. I will add it into the another one, but I want to create it as a sprite, as a prefab. So let me go to sprites, environment, and then go to wooden boxes. Make sure you make this a multiple, hit apply, sprite renderer, then scroll in and create this box collider that we have. We're gonna call it TNT. Let me check. Let me actually remove this. I will have to do this. And let me get it pixel perfect. Why? Because I don't want this white thing to be seen, so I'm gonna scale it down perfectly so it's not visible. And this shall do it. This shall do it. Maybe like this, yeah. And if I click apply, it will be done. I can go ahead and add the box TNT, not the box collider. Bam. I do think it's big TNT, so I'm gonna scale it down. Let's say 0.7. We're gonna add a simple box collider 2D, and that will be pretty much it for our for our TNT, except we have to add a tag which will say TNT, and we're gonna tag our TNT. What happened here? TNT, I guess I did not save it for some reason, and then TNT, and go ahead and just put it here into the props where all of our prefabs are. The last thing I'm going to do for this video is go to assets, scripts, go to player scripts, create a bullet script, and here we're just gonna add one simple line of code which will check if we hit the box. If that happens, then we're just gonna destroy the goddamn box. So to do that, just add here void on collision enter 2D. As I like to do, I'm gonna change the collision to target. You can change this to anything you want. If target dot GameObject.tag equals to our box. Then we're gonna say destroy target.GameObject and add a semicolon. And right now, if I go back to props, I go to box, add a box, hit play, and then bam, it will go away, but it did not destroy the, okay, I forgot to add the script, so let me go ahead and do that. Bullet, save it, click play, and then bam, it disappears and our player is down. So yeah guys, that will be it for this video. This was, I'm not gonna say important because you did not learn anything new, but what is the wisdom of creating all the props before creating the levels is if you have already some props in the mind, you will test them in your level test scene. Like this level 1 here is my test scene. And after you're satisfied with few, then you can start creating levels and then testing out if it works, and if it's not working, maybe more mass, maybe less mass, maybe while you test, you will get some weird ideas to create something else. That if you do that, I mean, if you get some ideas, go ahead, try them out, test things out, play around with it, and do your own thing. Well, that being said, I'm gonna say goodbye for now, and I will see you in the next video.